Battle of the Bulge occurred on the 16th of December, 1944, until January the 25th, 1945. The battle began in the dense forest of the Ardennes mountain region of Wallonia, Belgium, and moved up to France and Luxembourg west. The battle lasted 41 days. The countries in alliance that were involved in the battle were the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, the Free Belgian Forces, and the Luxembourgish Resistance. They were all against Germany. The Battle of the Bulge was the final attempt by Hitler to split the Allies in two in their drive towards Germany and destroy their ability to supply themselves. The map on the screen displays, in orange, the bulge that the Germans had advanced in. The red lines are the routes they had planned to move through. The blue lines is the Allied lines. To the left are the Allies' foxholes, and to the right are the Germans' bases. The Allies were surprised by the attack. They had received little intelligence that such an attack would take place. Previously, attacks by Germany would be leaked to the public, and once Germany realized, they made sure no intelligence was to be leaked. The Allies assumed that the Germans were about to surrender, but were oblivious to the fact that they were about to walk into one of the war's bloodiest battles unprepared.
Supporting the Germans' favor, the battle took place in dense forest covered in deep snow. The weather conditions were a major obstacle against the Allies. Many soldiers suffered from frostbite or became severely ill. Since the Germans had cut off all the supplies to the Allies, no food, water, or warm supplies were reaching them. This caused many to retreat from the battle. The battle started with a 2-hour bombardment of the Allied lines. It was followed by an armored attack. The Germans had experienced great success to start with, mainly because the days before the attack, English-speaking German soldiers dressed in American uniforms went behind the lines of the Allies and caused chaos. They spread misinformation, changed road signs, and cut the telephone lines. In addition, the low clouds restricted the flight path of anti-tank planes, meaning the Germans could advance their tanks without the fear of being bombed. Despite advancing 60 miles in 2 days, forming a bulge into the Allies' front line, the Germans were unable to build on this. From December 18th on, they were unable to advance any further. The German success lasted only until then. The battle was based on a German massive armored vehicle attack. Keeping up with the fuel required for the vehicles was difficult for the Germans. After fuel ran out, their main source of attack was down, meaning it was easier for the Allies to advance.
To make things worse for the Germans, by December 22nd, the sky began to clear, thus allowing the Allies to bring their air power into force. The following day, the Americans started a counterattack against the Germans. On Christmas Eve, the Allies were faced with the first counterattack by jet bombers. 16 German Me-262s attacked the railway in an attempt to hinder the Allies' ability to supply themselves. However, without fuel for their armored vehicles, the Germans didn't benefit greatly from this, even if it were a success. By New Year's Eve, the battle became brutal. The Germans even attempted to start a second fort in Holland. The effective lack of fuel for the Germans became evident after mid-January 1945, when the Germans were forced to ditch their vehicles and return to Germany on foot after facing too many losses. The Battle of the Bulge was the largest battle fought by the Americans in the Second World War. 600,000 American soldiers were involved in the battle.
The Germans lost 100,000 soldiers, while the Americans faced only 81,000 casualties. The total losses in this battle averaged at about 200,000 casualties altogether.
The bulge that Germany created was their strongest defense protecting Belgium. When the German troops moved into the battle, they created a deadly 50-mile inverse bulge into an 85-mile stretch of Allied lines from southern Belgium into Luxembourg. After the battle, the Allies knew that Germany had lost a much greater amount of casualties. The Allies had prevented Germany from advancing any further and had caused a sufficient loss in the German army. They could not recover, and the Allies advanced to recover Belgium. If the battle was lost by the Allies, Germany could have taken over the countries around Belgium and possibly have won the war.
This battle was supposedly the bloodiest battle in World War II. Over 1 million soldiers fought in a freezing cold forest, trying to fend off each other in the battle for Belgium. We remember those 41 days and how hundreds of thousands of people died. Imagine you waiting in a foxhole, day by day, not knowing if you will be there tomorrow. Bombs exploding and crushing trees all around you. What do you do when you hear a scream, a cry? This is why we remember all those left in this forest, in any forest, in any battle. If we didn't have those brave and courageous people there, we wouldn't exist. That is why we wear a poppy, to remember.
During the Bulge, command broke down, supplies broke down, morale broke down, communications broke down, everything broke down. It was every man for himself.
We were inadequately clothed.
We didn't have rubber overshoes, we didn't have overcoats, we didn't have gloves, we didn't have scarves.
My boots were so bad, I would strip newspapers and drapery off of these bombed out houses and wrap my feet in it. You were having trouble breathing because the snow was suffocating you. And consequently, we lost a lot of men who froze to death.